Cameron Hall, my main man. It's
Matthew.
been a while since we spoke, so I'm desperate to catch up
It
with you.
feels like it has, but
It feels like, well, it
not
was
as well.
because we did 2 episodes kind of like backed up.
Hmm.
We basically didn't speak last week, and now we're in a new week, so I feel like I haven't spoke to you for
Oh, I
ages.
see. I see. Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, even if we did speak, there wouldn't have been much. You've been busy, bro.
I have been very busy, but
Well,
I'm
we've both been busy, but you've been particularly busy.
yeah, I've not been at home, have I? So it's
No.
nice to be like back in the HQ, back in the desk, at the
Mm.
desk. Oh, Jesus, what am I saying? Yeah, so it's just nice, man. I was in Amsterdam on Monday for a shoot. Well, I actually flew out on Sunday, then did a shoot with Young LA on
Mm.
Monday, then flew back, had a day at home to pack, edit, and sort everything out before I went to Milan for this
Mm.
Nike event. And I was there until like late Friday night. I think I landed back in Heathrow, and then drove all the way home.
Mm.
Picked Jazz up on the way home. So it was a fairly chaotic week, and then I just had the weekend to just kind of down tools and chill out, plan the wedding, all the other life
Mm.
admin that's kind of going on. So yeah,
I've
it's
got to
been
ask the traveling and everything. Does it? Obviously, it's tiring, but like, so for me, traveling to shoots can be quite. Just the travel alone can be quite like wearing. And I'm wondering if you're doing like back to back, flights and things. Like, does that weigh you down a little bit, or are you a little bit one of those people where you can be like, no, it's just kind of similar. Like you just instead of going to a shoot, you go into the airport and then you know what I mean?
it can be. I think that. So like I knew that I was shooting on the Monday, so I
Mm.
purposely sacrificed some of my weekend to fly out Sunday, just
Mm.
so that I could stay in a hotel and I was there ready to go Monday morning instead of
Okay, yeah.
trying to fly super early on Monday
Mm.
and fit it in. So I think there are obviously ways around it. Like, and I think
It's a good idea, that.
as you're happy with the fee, that it's worth the travel as well. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Okay,
you're not
yeah,
going to
yeah,
take
yeah.
a job with loads of travel if the fee's not great because you've got travel time either
Mm.
side. A lot of people will charge travel days, and they'll do
Yeah.
like a percentage of their day rate for a travel day because technically you can't
Mm.
take any work on when you're traveling to and from your
Mm.
location for your shoot. Um, but no, man, like I just see them as like sick opportunities. It's good to see the world, and like while I can as well. Like we don't have kids yet and all that kind of stuff, but we want a family eventually. And I think when I've got kids, I'm probably not going to want to travel or go away as much. So I'm just like,
Mm.
while I've got the chance to see the world and meet people and go to these cool places, then like I'm up for it. Um,
That's a good point actually, because it's one of those things where kids and like prime career kind of like intertwine, like they overlap eventually somewhere.
yeah, yeah.
And
Uh,
yeah,
and Yaz has said, like, look, you probably are gonna have to travel for your job, and that's fine. But like, the
mm.
fee has got to reflect that time away that you're without your family, and it's not doing it, and it's not doing it so often that you're away like every week, all week,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then it gets
I
hard,
bet
like,
it's a good.
especially.
So I was gonna say it's a good way of getting your rate up. Like you have kids and you're like, damn, like there is no possible way I'm gonna do this shoot and be away from my family now without taking like this really big fee because you're gonna be like, it's obviously just not gonna be worth it to you internally to
Well,
be away from your family without it being like,
well, it's
you know,
funny. So it seems that I know a few people now that have got kids that work
if
in
you want
our
to increase
industry,
your
right?
rates, you
And some of
have
them,
kids, have family.
I won't name names, but some of them love going away because they're like, yeah,
Mm.
can get away from the wife and kids. I get a week
No,
away. It's great.
bit of
And
peace.
some people are
Oh
like, oh, I
no.
don't like leaving my kids. And I feel
Mm.
like I'll be one of those people that hates leaving my family at home. I'm a bit of a
Of
home
course,
bird,
yeah. Mm.
and I would say I'm quite paternal. So I think that I
Mm.
won't enjoy it, but we'll see. I might be singing a different song when I'm tired and I'm like, just,
When you're like, oh, I've not slept for 7 days straight because
yeah,
the baby keeps waking up at 4 a.m. and you're like,
yeah.
oh, I can actually have a good sleep.
So it might be quite nice to escape. Who knows?
Mm.
But yeah, these things you got to consider. Like
Mm.
when you're starting to get to that stage of your life. So, but at the moment, mate, I love it. And like the shoots that I've been doing have been really cool. So it's not like I'm not willing to travel really far to
Yeah.
like, it's been worth it. And the Nike, mate, I've got to tell you about this Nike trip.
Yeah, I
I've,
saw that you got the Nike glasses that were
mate,
given to you.
Nike glasses. Like I got I got everything, like coat, like tops. I got
Mm.
trainers. I got like
Oh my
600
god.
kids worth of kit. Like, mate, it was full like influencer mode. I walked into my hotel room and they had everything laid out for me.
Mm.
Like, I got a sick backpack. I got all sorts of stuff. But I filmed a whole YouTube video, so keep your eyes out for that.
I feel like, do you know, the background of like your webcam or whatever should just be like, you already have it as like memorabilia and stuff of stuff you've collected over shoots, but it'll just start getting busier until eventually you're just like overcrowded with everything. You're like, hi, there's just all this stuff from shoots that you've been doing.
Yeah, no, mate, it was really cool. So big shout out to Sports Shoes. They sent me there, and they only had
Mm.
2 spaces. So I went as a photographer, and Hattie, who is one of their sponsored athletes, I went with
Yep.
her. My goal was obviously to take photos of her, and I wanted to get some photos for myself. So, but I was also a guest on the trip, so I had the full kind of
Yeah.
like influencer experience on the trip as a guest as well. So it was pretty epic. Like we got to a hotel, all the kits laid out for us. Next morning, we go to Milan International like train
Mm.
station. Nike had made their own entire massive train, like customized the whole thing, paint job.
Jesus.
Inside it was decked out. There was like a cafe. There was a meeting area. There was a recovery room. There was like interactive parts about the product because they basically relaunched ACG, which is like their
Mm.
trail running outdoors kind of arm to their brand. A lot of people haven't heard of it. It's been around for a while, but they're really pushing it now.
Mm.
They had Yannick Sinner, the tennis player, stamping the train tickets as we were getting on, who's like one of the world's best tennis players. And yeah, it was just chaos, mate. So we all got on this train. We all had our little cabins. It was like Hogwarts style train, like old school, but they decked it out. And it was sick. And they took us into the mountains. So past Lake Como, up into the mountains. We got dropped off and we got onto these like custom 4x4 military style buses that they had decked
Oh
out
my
in
god.
Nike branding. They took us up like halfway up the mountain. You could either run or hike. I chose to hike with all my
Yeah,
camera
I
kit.
saw. I saw.
The hike was hard, man. We had to wear crampons, so like spikes on our shoes
Uh,
and poles, and we're trekking through like
well,
foot deep of snow.
yeah, I
Like
saw
up
the
at
story, and I'm like, he looks, you look like you're on a proper hike there.
yeah, yeah,
Like,
mate. It
what's,
was
what
it
did
was
you
it was
sign
only
up
like a
for?
5 or 6K hike, but I found
Uh,
it like I found it tough. And obviously you're at altitude as well, but it was
uh,
hard because I had crampons on, a pole to hike with, and I've got a camera in the other hand trying to shoot, and we were all in
yeah.
single file. So like the photos I got, like weren't. I'm happy with the ones I got, and I'm probably going to do a post today or tomorrow on Instagram. But it was tough to shoot in. I'd love to have had like
Mm,
the time to really like direct some people and create some stuff. But I got some cool portraits and some landscape shots that I'm going to put up that I made into like a little collage. But it
okay.
was super tough to shoot in, like conditions wise.
Mm,
I'd never done anything like that before in terms of crampons, poles, hiking through snow at altitude. It was a cool experience, but it was tough. And then before you know it, you were ascending and people were falling over even with spikes on, and it was tough to like get down. And like I was also had my DJI on me, and that knocked off and fell in the snow. And luckily, I found that. But it was just it was tricky, man. But it was
mm,
a sick experience. And then we all went for
mm.
lunch, and then they took us back to the train, and we got the train back to Milan, and that was kind of like the activity for the day. But it was very full on and quick.
I wonder.
Um,
I wonder, if it's easy to get lost in the sauce with stuff like that. Like you're there as a photographer, but sometimes, mate, not to like name any names, but like I've been at like, say, like GQ events and stuff, and
mm,
the people aren't necessarily doing the job that they're there to do. They're more so like in the photo booth, or they're like hanging out with the people there, and it's like yeah, it's cool that there's like famous people here or whatever, but like at the end of the day, like you're here to like do this thing,
do a
and
job.
sometimes
Yeah,
yeah, and it's like sometimes you can do like 30% of the job, and then 70% of just like hanging out, and then
yeah.
there's the other side where it's like you almost need to remember when you're there that it's like no, like so I'm just
No,
wondering,
hundred
did
percent. Yeah,
was there
and
anything like that that was you bothered about when you was doing the hike? Was you like, fuck, I've got to shoot some pictures, like
so
because especially if you're in single file, did you have to
it
run
was
ahead or
mate. So it was hard. So Nike had people there shooting for them, like covering that.
mm,
They had like a photographer that had a full assistant tethered to an iPad and all that
mm,
kind of stuff.
yeah,
My job through Sports Shoes was just to get photos of Hattie. So my job was easy
mm.
because I was always with her. So like
Oh,
she might
and
be
also it was just
behind
one
me,
person. So instead of the
just
whole
one
pack, it was just
person.
okay, good, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I wanted to get
yeah.
shots of other stuff for my own like
Okay, yeah, yeah.
page and like I wanted to do an Instagram post and a reel about like the trip as well. So
You
I
wanted
was
to be
taking
you're an
shots.
influencer as well. That's what
Well,
you say.
I've grown a following. It's cool to be on this event. Why would I not like post,
Yeah, I'm
do a
only
photo
joking.
done
Yeah.
from it or like a reel? So
Mm,
I wanted to get my own stuff as well, but it was easy for me because I was always with Hattie. She was
mm,
always nearby. I could like quickly just get some shots of her putting her crampons on or like walking through the snow and like on the flats. It was a little easier.
mm.
There wasn't like a load of time to like be like, right, guys, we're gonna stay here for 20 minutes. You can create content. We literally got back towards the buses and we stopped in some woods and the guy came over and was like 2 minutes until the bus leaves. So it was like really rushed.
Yeah.
But we did the best we could with kind of the situation we were in. Yeah, luckily I wasn't having to shoot like everyone, which would
Mm.
have been
Did
tough.
it feel in a little bit of the direction of what you wanted to aim for, which was, like capturing more of like the lifestyle of sports and training? Like it's not exactly a training camp, but it was a bit more of that. Like, did it lean that way because it was on the go kind of thing?
Yeah, so let me just like show you a couple of photos that I got. I think that I found it really hard to shoot in, and I said this on my YouTube video that I recorded. My
Mm.
kind of plan was to try and get some shots that felt like a Nike ACG campaign, because at
Mm.
least like I got to get the shots of Hattie, but if I can get some shots of like the product and the people and make it look like a Nike ACG
Mm.
campaign, then at least like that feels like it's like me, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was like it was a I basically played around with the edit to try and get some like really cool like detail shots just to
Mm.
make it look like it was a Nike vibe. So I'm just going to drop these in now to you and you can see them. Guys, I probably would have
Oh right.
posted
Oh.
these on Instagram. But
Oh, so
like
we can't show you them yet. Oh my god, we
well,
do.
I mean, you can
The listeners are going to be like, "What? They do this all the time."
but like notice how that I have laid them over texture and I've made it a bit like a
Mm.
collage because I wasn't like these images are elite, so I was like, how can I elevate them? I know, like,
Mm.
can I layer them over kind of another photo that I'd taken of like details and
Mm.
textures to make it feel more like a brand thing. Do you see what I've
Yeah.
done?
Yeah. 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 I do like this. It also makes it not feel like it's portfolio. Like it doesn't feel what's the
Commercial or
like commercial. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's more scrapbooky.
Exactly. Yeah. That's the word. Scrapbooking.
Yeah, but
This is great. Jesus Christ! Look at the snow.
the portrait, the last portrait, he's like one of the USA's best ultra runners. So,
Wait,
trail
hold on.
runners. So
Let me, because you say last portrait, but like obviously on what? Oh, okay. I see. I see. Okay.
the very last one.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Looks
like,
like
yeah,
what's his name? Sam Newton,
no
the
idea.
filmmaker on YouTube.
But that's how I've tried to elevate it, so you can see what I've done. Like, and I think they're good enough to
Mm.
like post on socials,
Yeah.
like the details and stuff.
Yeah.
Did
Definitely.
you
I
see?
think so.
Francis, the train guy. Francis,
Graham
the train
Librarian.
guy who did all the train videos. He
Oh
went
my god!
viral.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
mate,
Yeah.
I
Yeah. The way
interviewed him
he
for my
wears the
YouTube
GoPro on
channel.
his head. Yeah.
Mate, I interviewed him for my YouTube. He's in my YouTube video. He was a guest on the trip because obviously we went out on a train,
Yeah. Obviously.
and
Yeah.
he's just been announced as the new presenter for the Grand Tour.
Yeah. 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 I've seen
And
that, which is so random
it
as
got
well
announced
because.
when we were out there. We were on the bus. So I turned around and I was like, bro, like, and he was like, yes. And I was like, love that. So he was super nice.
Wow.
And he was on the hike with us all day. So we got to chat to him.
Do you know
which was
what? One
lovely.
of the craziest things with stuff like this is like is someone that like people that are like super niche, right? In the end up being like really good business people. And
Yeah.
it's like, how the hell do you do it? And it's like because they knew exactly what to do when the opportunity like
Yeah, true.
presented itself. And he strikes me as kind of like that where I feel like he made the most of that. Like
For sure.
he went
And now
viral with the
now he's
trains and then he
presenting the
blew
Grand
up.
Tour, man.
Exactly.
Like,
So it's like sometimes what's that quote? It's like preparation. Uh, what is it? What's that quote? It's like where
no
preparation is
idea.
where good luck finds you or something.
Sounds about right.
Damn, I can't remember off the top of my head. That's so annoying.
Sounds
Okay.
about right. But what you can do is in the edit lay the photos that I've sent you over the video so
Okay.
you can see them. Just so but no, that was the trip, mate. Like really good fun. Really cool experience. It was nice to get all the free kit and be a guest as well.
Mm.
but no, man, like did some networking. Obviously, I tried my best to do that when I was out there.
Important. Yep.
I kind of I kept telling myself like my mindset and like my affirmations and stuff was like on this trip I want to be like the best at networking in any room I enter. Like I want to
Mm,
be an effective communicator, the best at communicating, and I really
mm.
tried to take that experience into this trip. But I also realized there's a line. You don't want to be the guy that walks into the room or girl and like is shaking
Asking for
everyone's
everyone's
hand in the
Instagram,
room when it's really obvious, right?
yeah.
So it's like leaning towards the people that you probably seem to click with better or you get on
Mm.
with better. And I realized that it can be easy to cross the line potentially. Not that I feel like I did, but by trying to network with too many people there, it's like from this shoot or from this trip, can you come away with like 2 or 3 really good, strong connections? Not trying
Yeah.
to do like 8 or 9 and overdo it that it feels forced because everyone else in the room can see that it's forced, you know?
Yeah, I also it's similar with if you get on set and you start asking for people's like Instagram or email
Mm.
straight away, and it's like it's probably best to ask that at the end of the
At
shoot
the
when you've
end,
kind of all
yeah,
spent a couple of hours together or whatever,
yeah, yeah,
compared to
for
just
sure.
getting there and they go, "Oh, what's your Instagram? I'll follow you," and it's like, "Oh, you were easy."
Yeah, no, for sure. So yeah, that's some food for thought. But
Mm.
epic
Well,
trip.
with that though, it's good for us to go into the ballsy thing that we were talking about, where it's good to,
Yeah,
really sort of push yourself in the reaching out to people that you want to or the brands that you want to,
yeah,
and putting yourself out there a bit more.
100%. So the
Mm.
reason why we want to chat about that. So I saw a video of this girl on Instagram, and she was basically saying she made it onto her name's Cherry Beagle. She made it onto the Forbes 30 under 30. She started this female like only kind of business pushing females within kind of sports and stuff. Done super
Mm.
well. And she just put a story up on Instagram. She was basically saying like, in my first year, guys, I was so ballsy with what I was asking for. Like,
Mm.
that saying, like, you don't ask if you don't get kind of thing. And um, I had my coach, Sam, ask me, where have you been holding back and playing too safe with? And I was basically saying, probably, asking for a foot up, asking for opportunities, using my network, sending that message to big brands. So, he was like, right, what's 5 people or brands that you've been holding back with? Oh, like, let's reach out to them. So I made a list and I started reaching out, and I already had like a meeting opportunity come from it. And basically, we're just saying like the network that you guys have created, the network we've created, there'll be people you've met down the line, and they probably know someone that they could loop you in with, and that could be the connection that changes everything.
Mm.
And all you have to do is ask. And I feel like, I think it's a British thing, we feel too polite, like we don't want to ask for stuff. And I think you need to be ballsy with asking people in your network if they can put you in touch with that person. And I think there's a line. I don't think as photographers we should ask photographers for their contact at the brand that you
Yeah.
want to shoot with. I don't think that's. You can find that
No.
out yourself, guys. Don't be lazy. You can find out that information yourself. Just do some digging. It's not hard. But like producers or other people at brands or people that you're friends with, they might know someone somewhere, or you might have worked with a brand that could be like, oh yeah, you know what, I can put you in touch with that person. All you've got to do is ask. And it's something that I'm trying to embody at the moment, like asking for that foot up, being more ballsy. Like if you don't ask, you don't get. Whether that's messaging the big athlete or messaging the brand directly, or
Mm.
just shooting your shot. Because what if the worst that can happen is you get ignored, or they say like nothing's changed. Do you know what I mean? Like at least you know where you stand. So like throw your name in the hat. It's just like, why wouldn't you? And it's getting
Yeah.
used to being ballsy and asking for it and throwing yourself, putting
Yeah.
yourself out
Well,
there.
we were also saying that, like, when you're first in the beginning of your career, you kind of are a bit more ballsy just because you have to be, because of the network that you need to grow, because you're trying to get work. Like, you're not going to get anything at all if you don't kind of put yourself out there. And as time goes on, you start getting referrals, you start getting, other photographers that or other videographers pass work to you when they're too busy. And you start to get used to just the work coming through the network just naturally. You kind of forget to be your own, like, engine
You do.
for like that as well. And so when you talk about this, it's like, yeah, and also you have more of a prospect, not prospect. I guess you have more of a portfolio for those people to now respond when you
Exactly,
do reach out to them.
exactly.
So it's like you're
Yeah,
in the better position than you was when you was doing it at the beginning. So why are you still like not
100%.
doing it? So yeah, so I
100%.
really resonate with that. I really resonate with what you're saying about being a little bit more forthright with, and also we said as well how if you are doing that, then it probably shows that you do probably know what direction you want to go in because you're the one stepping up, being like, I can do this, I can probably do it better. Give me an opportunity. Obviously not too cocky, but
No, but
you
yeah, there's a
know,
difference between cocky and confident, I think, and I think people can read that. But yeah, like, why would
mm,
you not like put yourself out there, throw your name in the hat? And I feel confident doing it at the moment because I feel like I've never been this sure about my work and
mm,
all of that kind of stuff. And that's for a multitude of reasons. We spoke about me and you earlier about like my daily affirmations or like the work I'm
uh,
putting out at the moment. I feel like I'm in a good
uh,
spot to throw my name in the hat and be like, yo, like, can I shoot this or can I do this or does
mm,
anyone know anyone that can help with this? And like, why wouldn't you want to do that for yourself? Give yourself a foot up. It's a no
yeah.
brainer. It's literally a no brainer, in my opinion, anyway. So
I like how you also said that it's the top five that you would like to like, of all time probably work with, but you're just not sure, like you haven't done it yet,
yeah,
and
what's the
like,
scariest? What's the five
yeah,
scariest like messages that you're scared to send to
mm,
someone that like could give you an opportunity, and then whatever that
mm.
is, you do that. Like, so it's really
Well,
cool from Sam to do that with
yeah,
me.
you did also mention that one of the people you reached out to was from like 4 or 5 years ago or something that you haven't spoken to for a while, and so
Yeah.
even is it can be I think it can be quite you can be hesitant to be like, God, I haven't spoken to this person for quite a while. Is
I,
it
and I, I
is it
literally
right
voice
to do that?
noted
And
her.
you just
I
like,
literally
yeah, you
voice
just like
noted her.
screw it. Yeah.
Yeah. So the example that Cam's talking about is basically I met someone through a mutual friend that I worked with like 5, maybe even longer now, 6 years ago on a shoot. I haven't
Mm,
spoke to them in probably 4 or 5 years, but I know that they're super high up at a marketing advertisement agency. They do so many big campaigns for so many people, and we follow each other on Instagram, but we just haven't spoken in ages. And I
mm,
was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna voice note her." Sent a nice voice note, like asking about life, all that kind of stuff, and just said, "Look, I'm wanting to do this. This is my goal. Is there any way that you can help, like, put me in touch with someone, give me some advice, give me some feedback, facilitate that? Like, please let me know. I'd be super grateful for any
mm.
help. I'm really hungry at the moment to be a better photographer and level things up." And she got back and said, "Yeah, let me set up a meeting." And it's just like, but and it was
Mm,
someone that you could. It's one of those people because it's a friend of a friend. You follow each other, but they're not someone that actively posts on Instagram. They can just get forgotten about. Like
mm,
you almost can forget they exist until they pop up on a story or something like that. And even then, they don't really cross your mind in work mode, if you get what I mean.
mm.
So, but who knows what that could turn into? But you shoot your shot and you
Well,
see what happens.
yeah, and also it's evident as well that sometimes throughout your own career, like people ask you of stuff. Like imagine if someone messaged you that, you would
Mm.
kind of be like, "Oh yeah, I'll see what I can do," or like And if you can't do it, you would just let them know, but at least you can give them an answer. And
Do you
so
know?
it's often times where you do stuff for other people, but then when you never think to kind of do that for yourself.
Yeah.
And so it's
Well,
like, oh, like yeah, it probably works the other way around as well, where like you can do that, and other people will probably do the same for you, or similar.
it's
So,
funny you say that because I was actually like, oh, do you know what? Let me reach out to some big photographers that are doing really cool stuff at the moment that I'm like,
mm,
and I reached out to this one guy, Tom Emerson, who just shot this like New Balance campaign
mm,
worldwide with these like crocodiles. It looks mad. It's
okay,
such a big global campaign, and he's like directed it, shot it, all that kind of stuff.
mm,
And he doesn't follow me, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to drop him a message and see if I can meet him for a coffee or something.
mm,
And he followed me back and he was like, "Bro, I'm so slammed with pitching at the moment for shoots." But he was like, "I love your stuff. Send me some questions that you've got and I'll get back to you on voice note."
oh, amazing,
So sweet. So like this morning, I pinged off a couple of voice notes to him just with some questions that I had personally with what I'm kind of looking for future wise.
mm,
So it's just cool to have someone like that that's like further ahead in their career that's doing these big commercials worldwide, like and pick their brains. So
mm,
like it doesn't have to be someone that can give you an opportunity. It can be someone to learn from as well. Like you were saying, like someone might try and message me and like my DMs have been so messy recently. I think as I'm posting more, my socials are growing. People do message and ask questions. I try
And
my
also, if
best
you're
to get.
busy as well, you're not going to be on it,
No,
as
and then it
regularly as.
compounds. And then I think at the moment I've got like 22 message requests that I just need to get back to at some point. But
Yeah.
it's like, I will, but like asking the question to photographers or whoever it is and for advice or, a lot of the time I send people to the podcast or YouTube
Mm.
because there's so much free info on here. We've done over 100 episodes.
Yeah, we've spoken
But
about a lot of stuff.
we've spoken about a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like reaching out to photographers you look up to and people that like I admire, and it's like I'm doing that now, and just why wouldn't you just ask the question? You might get some really good advice that can pivot and push you in the right direction moving forward.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important. Be ballsy. 2026 guys, make it happen. Why not?
That's the name of this episode.
Yeah. There was a topic that I wanted to talk about briefly, and that is, guys, I don't think it'll take too long for us to go over it, but staying healthy as a creative, and that can be really broad, right?
You probably can't do it all at the same time either. You probably have to focus on one, then move on to the other eventually.
Yeah, and I know that some of the creators watching are probably like really good with like gym and stretching, and some people aren't so good. But one thing that I've been struggling with recently is like posture when I'm shooting. So I'll get really tight trap because when I'm shooting, I'm like this. I'm like arched over, heads down like that, and like the top of my back's just curved, and it's not a good posture. And when I'm shooting like that all day, at the end of the shoot, I'm like, like my right trap will be really tight or my rhomboid will be really tight. And I'm like, like my back hurts. And it's like, if you have a few shoot days in a row, before you know it, by the end of the week, your back's ruined.
Yeah. Do you know, have you ever, so in the industry, it's always people are in either really good shape or they're like crippled. Like they're completely never trained, like their back's in. And and also it's always the simplest things. Like I remember eventually, because I used to train years ago, but then I think back in 2021 when I hadn't trained for like 3 years really, my back started hurting picking up my backpack with my camera and stuff, and I used to like twinge my back a bit picking up that, and I was like, oh my god, like that's crazy.
And
that
people
like
hold their camera bags on like one shoulder,
just
sometimes.
one shoulder, yeah. Oh
yeah.
damn.
And then that can like really be bad with imbalances. So like it moving heavy stuff, poor posture on set, like walking with your camera bag with one shoulder.
It's like prolonged weighted backpack as well. Isn't it? It's
and obviously like it's
stuff,
this repetitive stuff. It's doing this like regularly, and then before you know it, 12 months down the line, you can find yourself in a spot of bother where you're in actually a lot of pain, like working, and then it's an issue. So one of the things I struggle with recently is. And so there's this thing called runner's knee, which is like the patellofemoral, whatever it is. Like you're basically your kneecap gets inflamed. The
isn't it like it's the impact of your feet hitting the floor or something when you're running?
Well, the ironic thing is that I don't run, and I had runner's knee. And basically, what can cause it is tightness in hip flexors, hamstrings, all that kind of stuff. And what I've been doing a lot recently is sitting on a plane for 12 hours. Or I'm driving to the airport for 3 hours in my car, or I'm sat at my desk all week. And when you're in that position where you're in a right angle, so you're sat and your hip and your legs, your hip flexors get super tight. So then that can pull on your knee, your hamstring, your ligaments. I have some understanding of this because my degree is exercise science and how the body moves.
Yeah, we're not just chatting we're not chatting complete shit over here. Like Matt actually knows what he's talking about. So.
But it can have a massive impact. So then I start like get problems with my knees going up like stairs. I can get sharp pains if everything's really tight. So I was like, shit, like I need to get stretching more. So guys, some of the exercises that you can do that are simple. I'm just gonna
and Matt's gonna perform them right now on camera. So if you're watching a video,
I feel like this would be a good reel or something like that because I feel like it should be done.
Maybe it can be part of your your photography kit that you do. Maybe you can have like an exercise video where it's like, all right, these are the things I do.
A couple of people bought the kit last week, actually. Shout out to those people. Photographer's kit available in my Instagram bio.
Update with the exercise videos.
Yeah. So the first thing, guys, is like Romanian deadlifts or kettlebell deadlifts. So building your hinge joint and the strength, kind of in your glutes, hamstrings, pulls. So pull-ups, rows, all that kind of stuff. Farmers carries are great. Suitcase carries, it's just the same as like walking around with heavy kit, moving stuff around a studio. Farmers carries are one of my favorite exercises, going to strengthen your traps, your like
Mm.
all your posterior chain really, and your core. Push-ups, dumbbell presses, and then like anti-rotation, so core work, so things like dead bugs, sorry, is a
I've
great
never
like core
heard of any
exercise.
some of these. Also, I
Just
don't know
Google
what
them,
dead.
and
Yeah,
you'll
yeah, yeah,
Google them.
yeah. But it's
And
quite strange though
disclaimer,
because like,
disclaimer:
go
I
on.
am not a certified personal trainer, so
Yeah, so if
do
you
these at
injure
your own
yourself,
risk. Um, but like strength training doesn't just make you stronger; like it makes your work day cheaper on your body. Like if you're on set and you're bent over and
I
you're
like
doing all
that.
these things like regularly,
Mm.
like it's gonna just chip away at you slowly. And as we get older, as we know, we're both 30 this year, and
Mate, 2 months, mate. I'm 30 in 2 months.
fuck yeah, you are. Jesus Christ.
Jeez, you make it sound like I'm gonna die somewhere.
R.I.P. But like, it's not the same feeling as it was when we were 22, 23.
Well,
I don't
I've
know
got to
about
say,
you,
right,
but
like,
I get
right.
stiff really easily.
So, as someone that I feel like I've been super self-aware through my 20s, right, and I swear to God, I feel exactly the same, except I now say, for example, I when I imagine me like jumping on a trampoline, I'm like, nah, I won't be able to do that. Like, or like jumping down like 3 steps, I'm like, I'd rather just walk down.
Really?
Like, there's just a bit more of like
Caution.
and there's yeah. There's just a bit more of like, not necessarily that you can't do it, but you don't want to do it, and then because you don't want to do it, it means that you can't do it because you aren't
Yeah.
like moving like that
So your
regularly.
body
And so
protects, it's trying to protect itself, and it
exactly,
stops you
yeah,
doing
yeah,
things. And the minute you stop doing things, it's the same as like, if you don't use it, you lose it. And it's so
yeah.
true. Like, if you stop kind of stretching and putting your body in those positions, and you're like, yeah, I'm not going to jump down those 3 steps, or I'm not going to do that, your body
Mm,
just doesn't, it starts to protect itself and isn't used to going through those ranges of motion at
mm.
all anymore. So it's so
Yeah,
true. So
it's a little. It also starts with like me and Matt have just been talking about before the podcast about like our sinus stuff, and it's like never used to have any sinus problems years ago. Now all of a sudden I'm getting like colds all the time, all this stuff. I'm like, what the hell? And it's
yeah.
like, yeah, man, it starts with the mental stuff, and then eventually I'm not going to be able. My knees are going to hurt.
Well, that goes into a good segment about like being preventative. So what we would call prehab instead of rehab. So like kind of
Learning loads of new words today.
things that you can do in order to prevent the thing happening in the first place, right? So things like stretching daily, improving your range of motion, all of those things are really, really beneficial. So you stop getting kind of tight traps and tight back on set, and then you get back pain and all that kind of stuff. Without going into detail, guys, it's so easy to just type into YouTube 10-minute full body stretch, and there'll be a routine that you can follow, and there's loads of good ones. But just things like that can really help you not get into this position in the first place, because it sounds really trivial, but it's so true. It can have an effect on your job, especially someone that works with athletes, like keeping up with them, getting into awkward positions, all that kind of stuff. Like you want to be able to move freely and be strong when doing your job, because if not, you can get an injury and then you might be out for like 4 months. You might have back spasms and be like bedbound, and you don't want to be in that situation. Full stop.
Yeah, and also physio's expensive, so
Yes,
so
it
you know.
is. But it can
Also,
be
I want to
beneficial.
say, get a water bottle. Like I've carried this thing around with me. You see me drinking this in every single episode. I carry this. I take this everywhere. This has been to film shoots with me. This has been sat next to famous people. I don't know, like shoots, stuff like that. This bottle has seen things, and it's and it's just like if you get something that you can carry around or whatever, then it makes it so much easier. And it makes me think of a lot of people just exercise in general, which are probably is the best. I feel like because we were in London, it's like common to exercise in London because there's gyms everywhere. Whereas I feel like if you're out of a city, it's probably less. Like you have to drive like 20 minutes to get to a gym, for example. Like I'm just thinking. So I have a pull-up bar that's outside in the garden and stuff like that. And unfortunately, I don't use it as much as I used to. But just like stretching and doing pull-ups and stuff is probably like better than. It's obviously way better than doing nothing. It's like easy to get to like the 80% mark, and then if you want to go to 100%, then it's like get a gym membership and go swim or something.
So since leaving London, the one thing that has took a detriment for me is my exercise. Every morning when I woke up in London, I'd walk 3.5K round Clapham Common back to my house. Like I was active. I barely do any walking here.
Mm.
Like,
But when he does
and
walk, he goes up Milan mountains.
Milan Mountain. I don't think that's the name of the mountain.
Yeah, I know. Like
But
it came out too fast. So
yeah, no, but so the eventual goal for me is to have, especially when we have kids, in my garage, I'm going to turn it into a bit of a gym. I want to put a sauna in there, just all of that kind of
Bloody
stuff.
hell.
So you can train when you're at home when you've got kids, so you don't have to travel.
Mm.
Because at the moment, guys, like I've actually just got a new gym membership at somewhere local, and I'm going to go this afternoon. But the one I was going to was like a 25-30 minute drive, and then it was an hour's commute, and then I was like, I don't want to go because I've got this work I want to get done, and it takes an hour out of my day. Then you've got an hour
Yeah.
of training, and it's
It's
just
like
like
the
it's 2 hours gone.
it's like the friction between,
Yeah.
thinking of doing it and then actually doing it, yeah. And if
Yeah.
it's like 30 minutes between each thing, it's like, God.
So I've got a new gym. It's a 5 minute drive away. My mates go from back home. So like I'm meeting my mate Will at 2 o'clock. We're gonna go to the gym, do a midday session, and just like doing things like that. I think you're making it as easy for yourself as possible. These like stretching routines, just get a yoga mat, can be done at home in front of your TV. Whenever I stretch, I just throw something on the YouTube and do it in front of my TV in my living room, like on the floor. Super simple and easy to do. The other thing I want to talk about, which I think is super important that everyone listening can definitely apply, and that's sorting your desk setup out. So people that don't have a good desk setup, guys, it can severely affect your posture. Having a good desk chair, making sure your screen is the correct height, like all of these things, and I'll go over 4 different things that can help. But having and like standing up regularly so your hips don't get tight. Like I'll be sat at this desk all day long. Yes, I'm going to the gym today, but other than that, I'll sit on it from 8:30 till about 6:30 p.m. And I'm just sat.
But you've also got to consider that when you're not sat at your desk, you're sat somewhere else.
I'm sat on the sofa.
So it's like you're basically,
like,
if you do sit at your desk, then you're gonna, it's like
so it's so
10 times the
important.
amount.
And Yaz struggles with this at work. I don't think she has a very good desk chair and stuff. So she's going to be working from home more. So we're now in the process of sorting her desk setup out, standing desk, so she's not sat all day, all that kind of stuff. So 4 things I've got here. Number 1 is making sure your screen height is roughly at eye level. This is really important because if your screen's lower and you're looking down like this, you're going to get apple neck. You know when people get that bulge? Because people get it from looking at their phone a lot. They call it apple neck because people are looking at their phone like this all the time. For those that can see.
Yeah.
So if your screen height is the same level as your eyes, you're in the correct neck position. Whereas if you're bent down like this looking at your laptop or your phone, you're going to get a bulge here in your disc and it's going to start to cause problems.
It's also important to consider though, like it's actually better for your eyes not to be like looking down on something.
That's true.
Compared to like looking up or so. And
So
by the way,
I have a laptop stand. Just get a laptop stand.
Yeah. Like to raise it up, yeah.
So it raises.
Yeah.
Sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, because when I've noticed that when I'm doing, and obviously I screen record my 3D, but I do this. When I'm concentrating, I'm like sat like this, and then when I concentrate, I do this. And and then honestly, because I'm doing it for hours, I've been complaining to Steph the last couple of weeks about how my neck's hurting because I'm literally like arching forward and then looking up at my monitor, and I'm just like, what on
Your
earth?
neck's
And
curved like that.
Yeah,
like
man.
Stegosaurus.
Oh god, yeah. No, it's actually going through me as I'm talking about it, but like it can be really bad. And so I think maybe lower your monitor a little bit lower than where you think it should be, because odds are you're probably going to slouch a little bit anyway. And then if you end up looking up, and like, because you can't like you down. Yeah. I also want to say I wouldn't get a Secret Labs chair. Like these are super popular in general. Like if you're looking at
it's just
office
a gaming
chairs,
chair, isn't it?
It's not. Well, it's not really. It's not a game. I wouldn't call it a gaming chair, but
okay.
I wouldn't get it just because it's so uncomfortable. Like it's premium and it's good, but it's if I could go back, I'm like my arse like hurts on this chair quite regularly. Like it's quite firm, and I'm like if I knew that, I wouldn't have got it. And obviously, I've had a lot of desk chairs over.
It's important to invest in a good desk chair, I think.
Yeah.
I just got this one off Amazon with like the neck thing and all that kind of stuff. We can't
Is that
all
comfortable for you?
afford. Yes, it is, to be fair.
Yeah.
And like having this neck thing here, and then there's a lumbar support in the middle as well, which is great.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
Like
cool.
the bottom of my back, and you can adjust it, so that's good. But we can't all afford a Herman Miller. You know what a Herman Miller is?
Oh my god, yeah, those are like the £1,000 chairs, aren't they? Which is
I've sat
crazy.
in one in Berlin in some guy's office, and it was like nothing I've ever sat in before in my
Oh
life.
my
I
god.
think Ben, my
Wait,
mate
you're
Ben, got
literally.
one off eBay for like 300 quid, which is they're
Oh
like a
my
thousand
god.
pound,
Yeah.
absolute steal.
Damn. Well, I thought you was gonna be like, yeah, they're expensive, but now instead you just. We should reach out for a sponsor or something, bro. Because
They aren't going
yeah.
to sponsor us. The next point I've got, guys,
We're the
is chair
perfect
and hips.
customer.
So you want to aim for your hips. This is ChatGPT's point, not mine, but this is what it's saying. Aim for hips slightly higher than your knees. A cushion can help, and you want your feet flat. If not, use a footrest or
I'm
a
kind
stack
of
of books.
thinking.
Next
But what?
one.
So this is the issue I run into, mate. What about when your arms of your chair hit the desk, so you have to have your chair a little bit lower? What do I do about that?
Well, okay,
Like my
well,
chair doesn't go high enough for the arms to go over the desk, so then I have to lower it. But now my knees are above my hips.
my knees are lower than my hips slightly. I don't know. Sit on a cushion. Sit on a cushion. There you go. Sit on a cushion because then your bum will be higher, your hips will be higher, but your desk doesn't change height. There you go.
Wow.
Keyboard and
Wow,
mouse
okay.
position. So keep your elbows near your side and your forearms supported.
Elbows.
So mouse is close, so you're not reaching out really far, which can cause shoulder tension. So yeah, like my keyboard and my mouse are all close to me. Elbows are tucked in like this. It's nice and upright, stable position. And then back support and active sitting. So sit back on your chair. It supports you. Add a lumbar cushion, which is that middle bit.
I feel like I'm sat too far back if I sit like this.
Yeah. Find something like, that works for you.
You know for a fact that works for you is going to be like with the feet up. It's like when we're talking about this, I'm thinking about how I sit at my desk, and I'm pretty sure I sit sideways with my feet on the desk like this, and then I have my mouse like this, and I'm like,
sometimes I do that too. It's not.
And
good,
I'm looking to the right, and then like my
we need
neck's
to sort our
sore
shit
because
out. This is a reminder to everyone listening and us.
Yeah, we're not the experts. We're just the people that have experienced it and gone. We need to warn people.
Yeah. But I mean, they're the main things I wanted to cover. Really, I don't really want to cover anything else. Like, you could get into some. You touched on hydration; it's super important. When you're on set, it's so easy to forget to drink water. And then your brain's fried. You've got a headache by the end of the shoot, and you're doing yourself no favors. So making sure you've got a water bottle on set that's refillable, that you can just keeping your brain mentally clear. But yeah, other than that.
Yeah, I do want to talk about mentality though, with working hard and sort of like sacrificing those things for like the shoot, or thinking that like you're doing something just because you're staying up all day every day or all night, and you're also like not training, or you're not eating, or you're not drinking. Like I used to be doing stuff like that, and I used to think, well, I'm dedicated to my craft and all this. And now that I'm older, I'm like, I only cared about that when I was 24. Now that I'm 29, I'm like, you idiot. Like
you realize how important your health is, don't you? And
well, it seems like like when you want to do something, you kind of like, no, I want to do this now. I want to get it done with. Like, this is important to me. I know what I'm doing. But now that I'm older, I look back at that and I'm like, that was only important in that year. Like it. Yeah. But now that I'm years ahead, I'm like, I could have just said like, nah.
You could have still gone to sleep at a reasonable time and got it done.
Yeah. Like, and I'm just like, what was I doing? And so, but at the time, again, like I feel like I was pretty self-aware through my 20s, and I knew this was what I wanted to do in terms of, okay, I'm going to do this. I know this is a sacrifice I'm making, but I'm going to do it anyway. And now I look back and I was dumb. That was a stupid thing to sacrifice. So I think there's no, even though it can feel like at the time, I think there's no like nobility in like sacrificing stupid stuff like that. Like I think it is really important to, like if you're on a shoot and you're like, nah, I'm going to power through. It's like, don't power through. Mate, go and get some food, bro. Like realistically, the brand or the client or whatever isn't going to be like, they care more that you take your break on set to like make sure that like it's admirable, but at the same time, it's like it's not.
And a good organized production and a good organized set will have an hour for lunch. The biggest and best shoots I do, they give you an hour for lunch. They feed catering. You well. They have catering well, because they know how important that is in order for the talent to be fed well and not hungry. Like the people making because then once everyone's happy and they're fed and they're fueled, they work so much more effectively. Straight up fact.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to end the show.
Okay, right, yeah.
Some good points. Some good points. And it was
I
lovely
think
to
so,
catch
yeah.
up, Cameron. It
Oh
was
yeah,
lovely
of
to
course,
catch
man,
up.
of course.
I am. Is it next week? I go to LA.
You're going
It
away
is,
again, Jesus.
bro. So next Friday, I'm flying to. I'm flying to Phoenix, Arizona, doing a little 2-day road trip, and then we're shooting in LA.
Oh my god, okay,
Um,
nice.
which will be fun, but that's not till Friday, so we can record
Mm.
this week, next week, whatever. All is
Okay,
good.
perfect. Okay.
All is good. But
Mine's not as eventful as yours. I've got some video editing, which I actually forgot to tell you about, which I'm doing over the next couple of days, and
who's
then
that
some
for?
more video. So it's, I think I can't remember the name, but it's a music label. They've got an
Oh,
artist
sick.
that's releasing an album, and so I'm just editing
Mega
a. It's
teaser.
kind of like a music, yeah, like a teaser kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's over the next few days, and then some GQ work at the end of the month. So
Boom.
that's nice. So decent, and then obviously 3D stuff. So busy, but yours is way more eventful and interesting. But hopefully, what I'm hoping for with the 3D thing is that we can talk about some portfolio. You know, like how we spoke about, you think about the strategy to posting, what you
Yeah.
thought about with your portfolio. I'd love to talk about that again now that I'm going through it with 3D. But obviously, not about 3D, but just like, okay, what am I thinking about if we are doing the portfolio? Who are the clients or agencies that you're aiming for? Like,
Do you
what do you
want me
actually
to
think
almost
about?
interview you about it? Like, say, Cameron, you're in this situation, and almost call you out a bit and be like, right, so what's your plan for this?
Oh
What are
God,
you doing?
okay.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I
we can
think so.
try
That could be
that.
quite cool because there
Yeah.
are, especially making like YouTube videos and stuff. There are things I've recorded where I'm like, this would be good to like talk about on the pod because I'm
Yeah.
talking
Okay.
about like why I'm making it a certain way, why I'm not going to do like fancy stuff. I'm going to do just like very technical
Okay.
posts because I want to get like producers instead of main clients. So there's like stuff
We
like
can
that,
do
and I'm
that.
like, this could relate to like photographers and like
Okay.
video. And it's weird to be at the beginning again because there's stuff that especially now you're experienced and you're like starting again with experience. It's very like, oh wow, like this is. I'm experiencing probably what it's like to be a beginner photographer or videographer again, just in a
Yeah.
different industry.
Yeah.
And it's
Okay.
like, wow, it's interesting to see what comes to the surface when, and also your lack of ability and your skill, where you're like doing
Yeah.
something, you're like, holy shit. And so I imagine if you're a photographer or videographer near the beginning of your career, you're probably doing stuff going, this did not turn out as well as I thought it was going to. What the hell? Like this
Yeah.
piece of work, I want to shoot it again, or I want to do it again, and you're like, ah. So it might be just good to do a future episode where we can blast through some of that
No,
stuff because
100%.
you'll have stuff to say as well.
Yeah, and I can challenge you on some bits and be like, why
Mm.
aren't you doing this? Are you doing this? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, yeah,
That'd be cool.
yeah.
That'd be a cool one. Sweet. Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much for listening if you made it this far. If you're new to the show, I think we've got a lot of new followers recently. So hello
Yeah,
and welcome.
we probably need to do like and like at the beginning of like another episode, we can probably just like reintroduce ourselves again because
Yeah. But we hope you enjoyed the show. We hope you took something from it. We appreciate the support. If you're listening on Spotify, please leave us a 5-star review. If you love the show, it helps us get seen by new people. We want to grow the show this year. We want more people listening. We love chatting to you. So send us a message. Whatever's good. If you haven't already, subscribe to our newsletter. It's in our Instagram bio. We send out a newsletter every week. 3 things we've loved this week. We highlight a creative, all the good stuff. And
you get a free budget calculator as well.
you do get a free budget calculator.
So.
And yeah, we'll see you in the next show. Much love,
Okay.
guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.